Amazing journey. Nigerian girl discovers heartwarming life-changing experience at Korean school. Nia's heart raced when the letter appeared. Acceptance into the Korean cultural school. To her, it felt like a golden ticket, an escape route from the daily grind that defined her life in Atlanta's suburbs. She could almost hear the proud gasps of her family when she detailed them. But soon after the cheers, shadows crept in. Her friends would murmur, "You're leaving us behind for a culture that isn't yours." The weight of their doubts settled over her like a heavy cloak. Standing at the entrance of her new school, Nia felt hope shimmer alongside a gnawing anxiety. The walls were adorned with exquisite murals of traditional dress, bustling markets, and vibrant landscapes of Korea. It was beautiful. Yet, it amplified her sense of being the other. In a sea of familiar faces, she felt lost, a lone flower blooming in an unfamiliar garden. Her spirits dipped, tightening her chest with each step she took down the bustling hallways. Days passed in a blur of colorful perspectives, until one day, she met Jisoo. He sat alone at lunch, a trace of sadness in his eyes that mirrored her own. They connected over shared dishes, laughter breaking down the barriers. In those moments, life felt richer. Nia shared stories of her homeland while Jisoo opened up about his father, a veteran who'd passed. They found comfort in this exchange, relief painting smiles on their tense faces. But happiness fluctuates. An announcement about performance-based scholarships echoed through the halls, raising concerns among classmates. Whispers grew louder around Nia. "She's only here because she's Nigerian," they'd say. Friendships sputtered under the pressure of prejudice. The burden of two worlds pressed on her shoulders as doubts slackened her grip on her dreams. Would she lose Jisoo just when they started to connect? And what about her scholarship? Nia felt her heart race again, not from joy, but from fear as the whispers reached a crescendo. She began to question everything. Should I keep quiet or stand up? Would the price of chasing my dreams mean abandoning my roots? Each glance at the acceptance letter was a reminder of the line she was walking. Nia's stomach twisted as the realization hit her. Only she could decide if she would rise from the ashes of misunderstanding or be swept away by the tide. Overwhelmed, she knew a moment of truth was approaching, a time for courage. Could she break free from the judgment? Was it possible to weave both identities together, to belong in both communities? As doubt filled her mind, a flicker of hope sparked deep within. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Nia looked around. Her friends, Jisoo, her family all reminded her of the journey they'd taken. She took a deep breath, claiming a moment of resolve. I'm not finishing this alone, she thought. The tension of two worlds clashed within her, but Nia was determined. She wouldn't let the judgments define her path. She could hear her family's dreams in her ears, their sacrifices ringing vibrantly in her heart. Could she meet this moment with strength? Would she forge her destiny and come out even stronger? Just as hope surged, the air crackled with possibility. Nia's journey was just beginning. Nia woke up the next morning with a fire in her heart. Today would be different. She tossed aside the nagging doubts swirling in her mind and embraced the anticipation buzzing around her. As she walked through the halls of her school, determination filled every step. She would confront the whispers. She would show her classmates, perhaps even herself, what it truly meant to belong. During lunch, she spotted Jisoo sitting at their usual table, a hint of unease shadowing his once bright eyes. Nia took a moment to gather her thoughts as she approached him, reminding herself of their connection. The shared stories, the laughter, they were evidence that differences didn't have to divide. Mind if I joined you? She asked, her voice steady despite the thundering of her heart. Of course, Jisoo replied, a small smile breaking through his frown. I saved you a seat. As they settled in, a few of their classmates glanced over, gossip bubbling under the surface. Nia fixed her gaze on Jisoo's comforting presence, hoping it would help anchor her. "Have you thought about what you want to do for the scholarship project?" she asked, breaking the thick tension hanging in the air. Jisoo shrugged, but his eyes twinkled with a flicker of excitement. "I have some ideas, but well, I'm not sure they'll impress anyone. Especially after everything that was said." Nia leaned in closer, a sense of urgency driving her words. "What if we worked on it together? We have enough creativity between us to show them what we can achieve." He hesitated, unsure, and she could see the weight of everyone else's words still pressing on his heart. "They might think we're just trying to prove a point," he finally said. "Maybe so," she replied, her voice low but firm. "But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We deserve to be here just as much as anyone else does." His gaze met hers, raw vulnerability and newfound hope mingling in that single moment. "Okay. Let us do it." After school, they found a quiet corner of the library, a sanctuary where they could brainstorm ideas for their project. As they flipped through books and chatted, the world outside faded away, and they became lost in the rhythm of creation. Ideas flowed, laughter filled the space, it felt electric. But the fleeting elation didn't shield them from the whispers. Even within those walls, Nia heard them, muffled murmurs drifting toward her like a chilling breeze. There they are, the two outsiders struggling to stay buoyant amidst the negativity. Nia took a moment to rest her head in her hands. "I thought this was supposed to be a safe space," she admitted softly. Jisoo's voice broke through her despair. "This isn't just about those whispers. It's about us, what we can achieve together." She looked up, drawn in by his sincerity. His words ignited an idea in her mind that pulled at her heartstrings. They weren't alone in this. What if we showcased our cultures? Something that combines both Nigerian and Korean traditions? Nia asked. His eyes widened with excitement. That could work. A cultural fusion. We could do a presentation with food, music, maybe even a performance. Yes, Nia exclaimed, feeling the warmth of hope radiate through her. Let us show them that our differences can create something beautiful. As they dove into planning, enthusiasm coursed through them. Days turned into nights filled with laughter, late-night brainstorming sessions, and moments of connection that etched their friendship deeper. Little by little, Nia's fear began to transform into resolve. But just as she felt they were on the cusp of something meaningful, an unexpected twist awaited them. The looming school-wide assembly was approaching fast, and with it, the pressure mounted. Nia could sense the whispers closing in again, growing louder, but her heart whispered back courage would be her anchor. All her doubts and vulnerabilities coiled tight within her, and now she stood at the precipice of her truth. Would she be able to bravely present their project? Could Nia truly embrace her identity, and share it boldly with everyone? Tomorrow held unknown challenges, waiting just around the corner. What awaited her at the assembly? Would it be the moment of breakthrough she yearned for, or would the shadows pull her back down? The morning of the assembly dawned bright and tense. Nia could feel her heart pounding in her chest as she stared at her reflection in the mirror. Today was the day she would confront her fears, the day she would step into the spotlight and be seen. She hoped Jisoo would be there beside her, his support a steady rhythm she could rely on. At school, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Students hurried through the hallways, chatting excitedly about the assembly. Nia's stomach twisted with a mix of nerves and determination. She caught sight of Jisoo across the gymnasium as he stood near the entrance, waiting for her. A warmth spread through her as their eyes met, and he waved her over, a reassuring smile stretching across his face. Are you ready? He asked, his voice steady yet encouraging. Nia took a deep breath. As ready as I'll ever be. She glanced around the gym, noticing groups chatting, laughter echoing off the walls. A few familiar faces turned to glance in their direction, and a murmur swept through the air, whispers that brought a knot to her throat. They still don't get it, do they? Jisoo said, sensing her discomfort. They might never get it, Nia replied softly, but we'll still show them. They walked towards the front of the gym, every step echoing her resolve and fear. Under the stage lights, their project stood ready, tables adorned with vibrant colors and displays featuring both Nigerian and Korean culture. Nia had arranged traditional Nguni cloths from home, and Jisoo had brought handmade decorations representing the colors of South Korea's flag. It was a beautiful fusion that mirrored their friendship. When their turn finally came, Nia and Jisoo stepped onto the platform, the air thick with anticipation. Just as the crowd began to quiet, she felt her hands tremble. Jisoo beside her noticed, and gave her a reassuring nod. His presence anchored her. She could do this. "Hello everyone," Nia began, her voice catching at first but growing stronger with every word. "Today, we want to share something special with you." She paused and took a deep breath, her heart racing. "We're not just two kids from different backgrounds. We're here to show how our cultures can unite, how they create something beautiful together." As Nia spoke, she felt the words flowing from her, each one like a stepping stone carrying her forward. With every detail she shared about her Nigerian heritage, and Jisoo's enthusiastic descriptions of Korean traditions, she began to see a shift in the crowd. Faces softened, curiosity sparked in their eyes. Nia waved her hand, revealing a plate of homemade jollof rice beside her. "This is jollof rice, a dish that's special to my family. But guiding me in the heart of mashups, we also have kimchi, representing Korea. Together, they create a feast of flavors." Jisoo grabbed the other dish and added, "Just like our culture's unique, but when combined, they create something amazing." They moved through their presentation, sharing stories and laughter, the once heavy atmosphere now pulsating with energy and connection. But just as Nia began to feel a swell of excitement, she spotted a group in the back whispering to one another, their expressions nothing but disdain. Her heart sank. "Listen," Jisoo said, sensing her hesitation. "We're beyond them. Just look at the people smiling." He gestured to the crowd, where several students leaned in, engaged and intrigued. His words pulled her back, and with newfound strength, Nia continued. They finished their presentation with a simple dance, a blend of Nigerian and K-pop moves that filled the space with joy. Laughter erupted, and she could barely contain her delight as the audience joined in, clapping and moving in rhythm with them. When they finally stepped off the stage, a wave of exhilaration crashed over her. They had done it! Just as she and Jisoo shared a victorious high-five, a teacher approached, her expression a mixture of surprise and pride. "You two really showed us something special today," she said. For a moment, Nia basked in the triumph. But before she could respond, the whispers returned, louder than before. They drifted toward them like a storm on the horizon. "We need to address the rumors," a voice cut through the joy threatening to rain on their parade. Panic surged within Nia. Would their moment be overshadowed by the very negativity they fought against? As she turned to Jisoo, the resolve in his eyes mirrored her own. "We'll face this together," he assured her. With courage swelling in her heart, Nia took a step forward, ready to confront whatever came next. Could they rise above the whispers, or would the shadows once again threaten their bloom? Nia stood at the edge of a swirling crowd, her heart racing. The initial rush of triumph from their presentation was still fresh, but the weight of the whispers felt heavier now than ever. Jisoo stood beside her, his posture unyielding, as if he could block out the negativity just by being there. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, his voice breaking through her swirling thoughts. She nodded, though doubt gnawed at her insides. I was hoping this would change things." Jisoo glanced over at the group of students still whispering in the corner. He frowned slightly but turned back to Nia with a determined gleam in his eyes. "What matters is that we shared something amazing. People will see." "But what if they didn't?" Nia's mind raced. She longed for acceptance, yet faced the harsh reality of gossip and misunderstanding head-on. What if they never see? What if— "Stop," Jisoo interjected gently but firmly. "We can't control how others think. But we can control how we respond. Let us show them we're not afraid. We've already done something incredible, and that's the only truth worth holding on to." His words wrapped around her, a lifeline in a storm. They stood together for a moment, absorbing the energy of the gym, now filled with laughter and chatter. She took a deep breath, feeling a flicker of her earlier confidence returning. "Let us go find a quieter spot," she suggested, hoping to escape the noise for a moment. Jisoo nodded, and they moved past the crowd. The hallway was less frenetic, the walls lined with colorful lockers. As they walked, Nia felt the pulse of doubt slowly begin to fade. Just then, a familiar voice called out behind them. "Hey Nia!" "Jisoo!" It was Mira, the girl from art class, running toward them with a bright smile. "I just wanted to say that was amazing. Your presentation brought everyone together. You should be proud." Nia felt a warmth flood her chest. "Thank you," she replied, the sincerity in Mira's voice igniting a spark of hope. "I think it's cool how you mix cultures. I've got a friend who's into Korean music. You should hang out with us." Jisoo beamed, and Nia felt the edges of her worries blur for a moment. "That sounds fun," she said, her tone lighter than it had been just moments before. As they chatted with Mira, Nia felt the whispering group from earlier fade into the background, replaced by the warmth of connection. More students approached, offering words of encouragement and compliments. With every positive interaction, her spirit lifted. But in the midst of the joy, a voice called out, cutting through the buzz, one she recognized all too well. "What do you think you're doing, Nia? Trying to show us all how special you are?" It was Jenna, her steely tone laced with sarcasm, the smirk on her face overshadowing any kindness that had been building. The laughter and chatter dissipated around them, replaced by a thick tension. Nia's heart dropped. This was the moment she had dreaded, the confrontation that could shatter the fragile peace she just found. Jisoo stepped slightly in front of her, ready to defend her, his voice steady as he said, "What's your problem, Jenna? They just shared something really great. You should be proud of your classmates." "Oh, please. It's all just a show. Everyone knows it." The crowd went silent, watching expectantly. Nia felt every gaze weigh down on her, twisting her stomach into knots. In that moment, she could either let fear silence her or find her voice and rise. The whispers, the doubt, it all came rushing back like a tidal wave. Yet she caught Jisoo's eye and felt that flicker of courage reignite. "Actually, it's not a show at all," Nia said, her voice shaking but determined. "It's a real part of who I am. And it's a part of Jisoo too. You can either choose to be negative about it or find something beautiful in the difference." The room seemed to hold its breath. Nia's heart pounded loudly in her ears. Would they accept her resolve? As silence enveloped them, Nia realized this was more than just a confrontation, it was a turning point. Could her voice make the difference? Or would the shadows of doubt overpower her once again? Nia braced herself for what came next. The silence felt like an eternity. Nia stood there, exposed and vulnerable, her words hanging in the air like a fragile thread. Every heartbeat echoed in her ears, but then she noticed something, a glimmer of understanding flickering in a few faces around her. Jenna rolled her eyes, but the intensity of her smirk had lessened slightly. It was as if Nia's honesty had caught her off guard, if only for a moment. Others in the crowd shifted uneasily, the tension beginning to crack. Jisoo shot Nia a warm, encouraging smile, drawing strength from her bravery. "Seriously, Jenna," a voice cut in from the crowd. It was Chris, a boy from the soccer team. "You can't sit there and act like celebrating differences is a bad thing. We're all in this together, right?" A murmur of agreement rippled through the students. Nia's heart fluttered. Was she actually gaining support? Jenna huffed, crossing her arms defiantly. "Whatever. I was just saying what everyone was thinking." But her tone now wavered, just enough for the doubt to creep in. "Why don't you actually try to see it our way?" Mira added, stepping closer to Nia. "There's no need to bring negativity into something good." The crowd began to stir with whispers and nods. Nia felt the weight on her shoulders lift slightly, but there was still a risk lingering in the air. She had to keep going. "Maybe it's scary to step out of your comfort zone," Nia said slowly, each word carefully chosen. "But that's where real growth happens. We should embrace what makes us different, not push it away." Her voice gained strength, passion igniting within her. The more she spoke, the clearer her vision became. This was not merely a battle with Jenna. It was about carving a space for herself and others like her in this school. Look, I know not everyone will understand right away. But wouldn't you rather try to build bridges instead of walls? Nia glanced around, taking in her classmates, searching for acceptance in their eyes. A few students exchanged glances, a tentative realization knitting itself together. Nia's words seemed to touch something deep within them. They were realizing the weight of connection, the beauty of empathy. Yeah! Shouted Ethan from the back, a shy kid with a love for comics. We can learn from each other. I mean, what's the point of this whole school if we don't support each other? The crowd erupted in nods and murmurs of agreement, a wave of camaraderie washing over the tension that had settled just moments before. Nia felt the spark of hope grow brighter, burning away the remaining shadows of doubt. Even Jenna's posture began to soften, though she still struggled to find her ground. Fine, she muttered, her voice quieter. I just thought you thought we wouldn't want to celebrate each other? Jisoo interrupted gently, still standing protectively beside Nia. But look around. You're part of this too, Jenna. In that moment, Nia saw there was an opportunity for healing, even for the ones who had been locked in their own security for too long. Maybe Jenna needed to see the beauty in diversity more than anyone else. The energy of the room shifted, an invisible thread weaving connections among them. Laughter began to rise again, conversations rekindled, and Nia felt lighter. She could breathe more easily now. And yet, even in this moment of victory, a buzz of uncertainty hung in the air. This victory felt raw, just the beginning of something larger. What would happen tomorrow? Would this newfound strength stick, or would doubt return with a vengeance? Nia clutched her hands at her sides, wishing she had the answers. She turned to Jisoo, who offered an encouraging nod, the kind that assured her they were in this together. As the crowd began to disperse, filled with chatter and renewed spirit, Nia couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the start. They had opened a door, but was this community ready to walk through it together? The question lingered in her mind as she caught Jenna's eye once more, searching for a glimmer of empathy in a face that had once seemed so intimidating. Could Jenna change? Or would old habits die hard? Nia felt the excitement of hope, mixed with the uncertainty of unanswered questions. Looking ahead, she prepared herself for whatever challenges lay ahead. All she could do was take the next step forward. The next day, Nia woke with a flutter of nerves in her stomach. The sun streamed through her window, casting a warm glow that felt oddly comforting. Today was her chance to turn the momentum from yesterday into something more substantial. She dressed deliberately, choosing a vibrant yellow shirt that felt like a signal of optimism, and squeezed a bit of curling gel into her coily hair. It was a small act, but today, everything felt like it had meaning. Stepping into the school hall, she noticed the air was different. There was a hum of chatter and laughter, but it felt lighter, less strained. As she walked, she caught snippets of conversation people were discussing yesterday's meeting, and not in hushed tones, but rather animatedly, as if sharing tales of adventure. Can you believe it? Nia actually made Jenna think. One girl exclaimed, her eyes wide with amazement as she passed Nia. A warm blush crept across Nia's cheeks. She flashed a smile despite wanting to shy away. Hey Nia! Called out Chris from behind. That was really awesome what you did yesterday. Thanks, Nia replied, feeling the weight of gratitude settle in her chest. It was strange how a few words could shift an entire atmosphere. But doubt nibbled at her thoughts. Would today be just as bright? Would Jenna come around, or was it all an illusion? As she made her way to her locker, she saw Jenna leaning against it with a few of her friends. Nia's heart sank momentarily. Could they see her? Would Jenna start with a snarky comment? Hey, Nia! Jenna called out, pushing away from the locker and stepping toward her. The group fell silent, eyes shifting between them, tension thick in the air. Nia straightened her back, readying herself for another round of confrontation, but Jenna's expression was softer. I just wanted to say I didn't get what you were trying to say yesterday. Not really, but maybe I should have listened better. Nia blinked, surprised. Thanks, Jenna. The crowd around them was silent, holding their breath as they sensed the delicate moment. Jenna pressed on. No one wants to be the bad guy, right? Can we start over? Nia hesitated, but something inside her felt each word was genuinely meant. Yeah, I'd like that. Jisoo appeared from behind Nia, a look of encouragement on her face. See? It's starting already. We're all learning. Laughter erupted from the small crowd, breaking the remaining tension like sunshine spilling through clouds. Jenna's friends smiled while some of the other students began to murmur, their expressions showing a variety of emotions: surprise, hope, and even joy. As they talked about their shared interests, school events, favorite classes, and plans for the upcoming dance, Nia felt a buoyancy lifting her spirit. They were all letting their barriers down, step by step. Hey, why don't we all hang out later? Chris suggested, looking at everyone. Maybe we can work on that community project together. It would be fun. Yes, echoed Ethan, the shy comic lover. We could do it at my house. Got tons of snacks. An inviting warmth spread through Nia, but she also sensed the weight of this newfound unity. It felt like fragile glass, beautiful yet easily shattered. Later that day, she sat in her room, the light fading outside as dusk approached. She picked up her phone, staring at the texts pinging in from the group. The invitation was exciting, yet she felt a flicker of fear creeping in. Could this really last? Deep down, Nia hoped the changes would stick, but echoes of uncertainty loomed. Knowing that groups could shift again, she stood at a crossroads. Would she face the challenges ahead or cling to the past? Closing her eyes, Nia took a deep breath. Tomorrow would be a new chapter, but how could she ensure that this fragile friendship, this moment of hope, would survive the testing storm of school life? As she pondered, a single message illuminated her screen: "Let us do this together." From Jisoo. Nia smiled, but doubt whispered in her mind. Could inclusiveness thrive in an environment that had been so divided? What if not everyone wanted to join? Tomorrow held the key. Would they truly embrace their growth, or would old wounds reopen? The school day dawned with a radiant promise, but Nia remained a bundle of nerves as she braced for the aftermath of yesterday's breakthrough. She slipped into her yellow shirt, the vibrant color matching her determination to face the day. The morning air felt alive with energy, humming softly with the laughter and chatter of students filtering through the halls. Nia caught sight of familiar faces, friends she hadn't realized she could call close until only days before. Each encounter felt momentous. She smiled as she passed by, but the undercurrent of anxiety wouldn't let her forget how quickly things could change. Entering the classroom, she bumped into Jenna, who was animatedly discussing plans for the community project with Chris and Ethan. Nia hovered by the doorway, hesitant but curious. When Jenna caught sight of her, the room fell silent, introspection hanging in the air. Hey, Nia! Jenna's tone rang bright, tinged with earnestness. Want to help us brainstorm for tonight? We could really use your perspective. Nia's heart raced. A rush of warmth filled her as she approached. Sure! I'd love to. As they gathered in a circle, ideas began to flow. Nia could feel her mind igniting with inspiration and creativity. The room felt charged, brimming with camaraderie. She couldn't help but glance at Jenna, who listened intently, nodding at every suggestion. It felt genuine this time. Their laughter echoed as they sketched out plans, and suddenly, the project didn't feel like work, it felt like a collective adventure. They discussed everything, from decorating the community center to creating a fun kickoff event. But just as quickly as the excitement had peaked, a shadow draped over Nia's burgeoning joy when someone suggested, "What if we invited the whole school?" Frozen momentarily, doubts rushed in like a winter storm. The very thought of including everyone felt monumental, daunting. Would they support this effort together or would rivalries resurface? Yeah, that's a great idea, right? Ethan's voice was uncertain, mirroring Nia's turmoil. Jenna seemed to sense the shift in mood. We can figure it out. It's not just about us anymore. Let us make this a true community event. Nia watched Jenna, a flicker of admiration sparking within her. Underneath the popular facade was a glimmer of leadership that felt refreshing. But another voice echoed in her mind: what if they failed? What if it turned into chaos? How do we even start? Nia asked, her voice wavering slightly. She realized that after all the highs of yesterday, this moment felt like a test, and she wasn't sure how to respond. Let us break it down. Chris chimed in. We can make a list of volunteers from each group. That way, everyone gets involved right from the start. The tension eased, the group starting to map out their ideas on paper. Nia leaned in, feeling the thrill of collaboration take over the fear. Maybe this could work. Maybe they could create something truly remarkable, a gathering that reflected every person's input. Later that afternoon, as she prepared for the event at Ethan's house, her mind flooded with excitement and fear swirling together like a tempest. She could picture the space filled with students, laughter bouncing off the walls. But would those who had felt excluded step forward or linger in the shadows? When they all gathered at Ethan's their first step toward this larger vision, Nia felt a sense of urgency inside her. She looked around at the faces that had once seemed like strangers, now growing warm and familiar. The togetherness felt fragile yet vibrant, like a new plant sprouting from solid ground. All right, everyone. Nia began, finding her voice stronger than before. Let us make something amazing together. We all have our parts to play. As the night wore on, the discussions grew more animated, and Nia noticed genuine friendships blossoming. But lingering in her heart was a worry, a thought that clawed at her. Was it too late to turn things around or too early to let her guard down? Just then, Jenna held up a sticky note with an idea about inviting more students. The room buzzed with debate. Some were all in, while others hesitated. Nia's stomach sank. Are we ready for this? She whispered to Jisoo, who stood beside her, bright-eyed despite the uncertainty. Jisoo smiled. We'll never know unless we try. Nia's breath hitched. Could that really be true? The room pulsed with energy, yet she couldn't shake the feeling. Had they truly begun to transform, or was this just a brief flicker before the darkness of doubt returned? As she stared at the faces around her, she realized that one small step had led to many new paths. But which one would they take next? The night ended, but the questions lingered, echoing like a whispered promise. Would they rise together, or would fear hold them back? The next morning, the sun spilled through Nia's window, casting soft patterns on her bedspread. She lay awake, her mind racing through last night's whirlwind of ideas and discussions. Hope bubbled within her, though uncertainty clung around the edges like a shadow. She threw off her covers and jumped out of bed. Today felt different. She could almost taste the excitement in the air. But what if all these good intentions unraveled? Nia fought the fear that threatened to creep in, pulling on her yellow shirt with an added sense of purpose. At school, everything seemed amplified. Laughter filled the hallways, and everywhere she turned, groups of students buzzed about the community event. Some faces she recognized. Others were new, blending into the lively fabric of the crowd. For the first time, the school didn't feel like a collection of cliques. It felt like a community. Nia's heart raced as she approached her first class. She spotted Jenna and waved. Jenna's grin was infectious, her enthusiasm radiating warmth. Good morning. Have you thought more about the invite list? She asked, her eyes wide with eagerness. I have, Nia replied, her confidence growing stronger with each word. We should make sure to reach out to everyone. I think it might be time to really include those who usually don't come to events. Exactly. Jenna clapped her hands together. If we invite them, they'll see that we want everyone to be part of this. Nia felt a spark ignite in her heart. This was the moment they had to push through any remaining barriers. But a nagging thought whispered that their good intentions could be met with indifference. What if they were dismissed? As the school day unfolded, proposals flew around. Nia, Jenna, Chris, and Ethan met between classes, fueled by shared excitement and the positive surge from their classmates. The more they strategized, the more Nia's fear dissipated, replaced by a sense of belonging and purpose. But as lunchtime approached, Nia noticed a group sitting at a distance, whispering and shooting glances their way. A familiar dread wrapped around her heart. They were the students who often felt left out, the ones who rarely joined any social gatherings. Nia's breath caught in her throat. Should we invite them? She said cautiously, directing her question to Jenna. Jenna paused, glancing over her shoulder at the group. I think we should. But it might be a little awkward. Nia nodded, her heart pounding. Yeah, but if we want this to be a place for everyone, we have to include them. With newfound determination and a knot of bravery in her stomach, Nia approached the table. She could feel Jenna's supportive presence beside her. Hey, you guys! Nia called out, her voice shaking just a bit. A few heads turned, some surprised, others skeptical. We're planning a big community event, she continued, her words tumbling out. We'd love for you to join us. It's for everyone. There was a moment of silence, an unspoken tension hovering like low clouds. Then, one of the quieter students leaned forward. What's it about? Nia's heart raced as she launched into the details. She poured out how they envisioned celebrating diversity, sharing talents, and simply coming together as a school. With every word, she sensed the skepticism slowly melting. A flicker of curiosity replaced the doubtful expressions, and she could see others leaning in. That actually sounds cool, someone said finally, a hesitant smile breaking through the facade. Nia couldn't help but smile back, holding on to the moment tightly. Maybe, just maybe, they were on the brink of something transformative. As she returned to her friends, a mingling blend of hope and fear churned within her. What if their efforts drew more people in? Or what if they rejected the invite entirely? That evening, as they all gathered for one last brainstorming session, Nia felt the weight of anticipation. The event was just a few days away and everyone seemed ready, but was she? Would they manage to create a space where everyone felt they belonged, or would old patterns take root once again? The questions loomed heavily in the air, pressing against the vibrant energy the group had built. As she looked around the room, Nia wondered what twists awaited them in the days ahead. Would they conquer the looming doubts, or would they retreat back into the shadows of fear? The days flew by like a blur of color and sound, each one filled with a mix of anticipation and worry. Nia felt the event drawing closer, and with every tick of the clock, the excitement in her chest grew. But so did the weight of her worries. They had spread the word, but would anyone really come? As they settled around the table for another meeting, Nia sensed the energy shifting. Chris leaned back in his chair, his brow furrowing. I really hope we have enough people show up. What if they don't come? That question hung in the air, heavier than before. Everyone nodded, acknowledging the truth behind it. It was a shared fear, waiting to be given voice. Maybe we need a backup plan? Ethan suggested, scratching his head. Something to keep it fun even if it's smaller than we hoped. Nia's stomach twisted. The thought of a half-empty room was enough to make her want to retreat. But escaping wasn't an option now. They had already taken the step forward, and there was no turning back. Glancing at each of her friends, she felt a surge of determination. No, she declared, surprising even herself. We're not planning for failure. We're going to make sure this event is amazing, no matter what. We'll go all in. Jenna beamed at her, that infectious spark radiating from her. Yes. Let us make it about what we can do together, not about how many show up. Feeling the power of their collective energy, Nia proposed a theme for the event. Let us call it a Unity Day. We'll have activities, food from different cultures, a sharing circle to tell stories. It'll be about connection. A wave of excitement spread around the table. Everyone chimed in with ideas, voices overlapping, enthusiasm bubbling like an overshaken soda can. Each new proposal felt like a brick laid down in the foundation of their vision, solidifying not just the event, but the bonds between them. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon that night, Nia felt a strange blend of exhaustion and exhilaration. She had poured herself into every detail, feeling the energy of possibility in her veins. They decided that flyers would go up the next day, and in her heart, Nia believed the community would show up. But as she lay in bed later, a nagging doubt cast a shadow over her thoughts. What if they didn't? What if they remained invisible, the same students who always lingered on the sidelines? As sleep began to creep in, she pressed her hands to her heart. You can't give up, she whispered to herself. You are stronger than fear. The big day arrived in a whirlwind of nerves and excitement. Nia, dressed in a vibrant dress her mother had given her, felt more alive than ever. The school was adorned with colorful banners and posters filled with messages of welcome. Her heart raced as she saw the tables laid out, the diversity of food and activities ready to unfold. As students filed in, laughter and chatter began to fill the halls. Nia stood near the entrance, controlling her breathing, willing herself to be present. One by one, familiar faces emerged, smiling and greeting her, and then something unexpected happened. She noticed the same group she had approached before, now mingling, smiling, and even laughing with others. Her smile was almost a laugh of relief when Jenna squeezed her shoulder. Look! They're here! Nia's heart swelled. But just as quickly, a wave of uncertainty washed over her. What if they didn't feel included? What if the same fears of isolation lurked beneath the surface? With that thought, she made a decision. She turned to her friends, determination in her voice. Let us bring everyone together. We can start with a group activity to break the ice. As she moved closer to the crowd, Nia wondered if she could truly do this. Could she bridge the rift and build connections where there were none? With each passing moment, her anxiousness and hope entwined like vines, pushing her forward into a new, exhilarating uncertainty. Would Unity Day become a transformative moment for all, or would it slip past them like so many missed chances? With a deep breath, Nia stepped into the center of the crowd, feeling the weight of possibilities swirling around her. Today was their chance to shine. Would they succeed in uniting their school, or would the shadows of doubt loom larger than ever? Nia stood at the heart of the bustling gymnasium, her pulse quickening with each energetic sound that filled the air. Students were here more than she had dared to hope. The decorations they had painstakingly hung were vibrant, showcasing a tapestry of cultures that radiated excitement and possibility. Unity Day was finally unfolding, and as her gaze swept over the mingling students, her heart swelled. Are you ready? Jisoo asked, stepping beside her, a supportive smile lighting up his face. Nia took a deep breath, her nerves battling against the wave of determination pushing through her. Let us do this, she replied, her voice strong, surprising even herself. They gathered the crowd, signaling for attention. The noise dimmed to a hum, curiosity turning the collective focus towards them. Nia felt the familiar knot in her stomach ease slightly as she caught sight of familiar faces, friends intertwined within a larger tapestry of students. Welcome to Unity Day, she announced, her confidence growing with each word. Today, we celebrate our differences. Together, we'll share stories, make connections, and discover just how beautiful a community can be. The crowd erupted in cheers, and for the first time, she felt the reality of unity resonate in a tangible way. As the activities began, Nia moved from group to group, engaging with students. She could see barriers breaking down as laughter intertwined with heartfelt stories. She noticed the shy girl from the corner table, now mingling with Jenna and Chris, smiles exchanged like gifts. See? It's working. Jisoo turned to her, his infectious enthusiasm buoying Nia's spirits even higher. But soon, another feeling surfaced. She felt a shadow shift in the corner, and her smile faltered. The group that had sometimes whispered and hovered in doubt was still watching, hesitant. Nia could almost see the walls around them, fortified by years of feeling left out. Do you think they'll join? She asked Jisoo, the worry creeping back in. He nodded. We have to show them they're welcome. Let us invite them into this moment. Drawing on that sense of urgency, Nia took Jisoo's hand. Together, they approached the quiet group. Hey! We'd love for you to come join us. The more voices, the richer the experience. Nia called out, her heart pounding as she stepped forward into vulnerability, hoping to ignite a spark within them. At first, they exchanged hesitant glances. But with a warm smile and encouragement, one of the students took a step forward. What activities do you have? she asked, curiosity written all over her face. We've got food from all over, storytelling sessions, and games that celebrate our cultures. Jisoo chimed in, his voice steadying their nerves. It'll be a blast. The energy shifted as more students began to engage, laughter and chatter weaving new connections among them, like the vibrant colors decorating the room. Nia's heart soared. This was what it was all about, inclusivity, genuine connections. As the afternoon unfolded, Nia watched in awe. A storytelling circle where experiences were shared, the traditional dances infused with K-pop moves creating a chorus of joy. Students began supporting each other in ways Nia had longed to see. There were no sidelines, everyone participated. In that moment, Nia knew this was the change they sought. She shared her family's stories, blending her culture with Jisoo's, igniting conversations that peeled back layers of doubt and fear. The final highlight arrived as they prepared for a combined performance at the end of the day. Students from various backgrounds, each bringing their unique flavors, united in a dance that symbolized their growing friendship. As they took their positions, Nia felt an overwhelming rush of gratitude. This wasn't just her win or Jisoo's. It was everyone's. They were no longer strangers. They were a community, now woven into a tapestry of acceptance and understanding. When the music began, laughter erupted, jittery excitement filled the air, and Nia's heart danced along with them. She couldn't remember a moment so full of joy. Together they performed, their movements syncing in brilliant harmony, an expression of who they were collectively. The song ended with thunderous applause, a celebration of each student's journey melding into a single, unified experience. As they caught their breath, the weight of doubt that had once lingered began to dissipate. Nia stood with her friends, catching Jisoo's eye, an unspoken understanding between them. This was more than an event, it was a new chapter. The murmurs of prejudice that once echoed through the hallways faded, replaced by cheers of friendship and acceptance. Nia looked around at the smiling faces that felt like family. She knew challenges lay ahead, but the bonds they built today would be strong enough to weather any storm. Her heart light, she smiled brightly at Jisoo, who beamed back. "We did it!" she exclaimed, swept away by the love surrounding her. This was the moment she had dreamed about, deciding to embrace her true self, while bringing others into her world of courage and creativity. With renewed hope and shared determination, they had triumphed over silence, stepping boldly into tomorrow together. As the sun set, casting a golden light across the halls of the school, Nia whispered a silent promise to herself. This was only the beginning. Remember, friends, you need to subscribe now to keep up with exclusive stories like this transformation. Be a part of the journey. Leave a like to help feed the algorithm. Let us spread the love. Comment below your thoughts and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. And for all the true fans out there, don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to be uplifted by this incredible journey.